Welcome to another Masterclass guitar lesson session. And it's a masterclass because I say it is. That's all the requirements for one of those types of videos, I guess. I'm sitting on my floor, and I wanted to continue from where I left off yesterday. Yesterday I made a video where I talked about one riff for 15 minutes, and I did this for like 45 minutes, over and over again. I'm doing it again. Actually, it is cool, so check that out. If nothing else, it's a pretty cool legato exercise. Anyway, moving on. So, actually, in the same song that I talked about yesterday, the next part in that song is a guitar line that I've had in mind for, I think maybe 4 years now, even for quite a while. It's simple. It's very simple to play. But here's the one. I'll count in 1, 2, 3, 4, and then play it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1, 1, 1. It does this for however many bars, and then it goes into repeats, then goes back to and slight variations of that. So anyway, I've had that in mind for a few years now, and I think it's cool because it's very easy to play. It is the exact same fretting and the exact same, not fretting, but exact same fingering. It's just it's like a pull-off thing. Where the E string is open, and this string, you do the pull-offs. On whichever place it is, and then this string, it's just a fret pressed down. And then moving that pattern around, you can create a pretty cool melody. And I like this melody because it's, like I said yesterday in my previous video, I like things that sound a little off, but end up making sense. And this one sounds off, you know, you're like, where the fuck does it go? It's just foreboding, and it doesn't get any sense of resolution. It's just looped in this like anxious feel. But then I just keep moving it upwards. It gets a sense of closure later on. It goes into So I had to figure out, because I wanted to incorporate this into a song. I wanted to challenge myself to say, how the fuck do I take this part and smash it into a song after this? Because here it is. And so that's the drumming I had programmed there, and I was like, I want to play that. I want to record. I want to do this line, and I want to turn that into a part of the song. But then I thought, what the fuck? I can't just have one guitar. I could, but I don't want to. I could just have one guitar line going. But I knew that I wanted to have that sort of as a background element. It's just, sort of just like the red thread, the running thread throughout the section. Just sort of, I don't want that to be the entire riff. But therein laid the problem. because I had to figure out what the fuck is this riff actually based on. I mean, what are the root notes there? What the fuck? What do I play underneath that? In other words, what do I record in the left channel and right channel in a riff sort of fashion that fits that fucking line? So I had to figure out, okay, what are the root notes there? What would the bass play? So I had to like hum in my mind. I'd be like, maybe this note. And imagine that underneath. You don't even need to imagine it. I can just play it because we have these two notes, okay? So okay, here goes. And the crazy part is, when you listen to it, it shouldn't make sense because it sounds garbage. It sounds bad, but it just works somehow because all the right notes for these root notes are there. So I thought, okay, well, I can't just have the guitars go. I tried doing it in an octave, like, or an octave higher. But that I quickly scrapped that because I was a little perplexed. What the hell should I do? And then I eventually figured out, hey, okay, what other notes do I have there? What are these notes? That are in that lead line. And lo and behold, or as Zach Baggins, my favorite doofus, says, below and behold, everybody, it's these notes. And you know what the fuck that is? That I've seen someone call it, I don't know what it actually is called, or if it even is called that, it is the inverted power chord. And all of a sudden, everything made sense. The pieces clicked in my mind. Of course, it's the fucking inverted power chord, which I'm just gonna start calling. If it's not the inverted power chord, actually, fuck it. I'm taking over that title. This is now the inverted power chord, and this is what it means. Which, in essence, is if you have a power chord on the 6th fret on the E string, then on the A string, the next string, then you play the 8th fret. But when you invert that, then well, if I was to invert it right here on the spot, it would go from just changing the frets, but then the root note would also change. But if I want to keep the same root note, then the inverted power chord version of this would be, because now I'm playing the 6th fret on the E string and the 4th fret on this one. So in essence, in simplicity, if we're on E, we're gonna go regular power chord, inverted. It is also pretty fucking sad. It is the sadness chord. But you know what? With great sadness comes great fucking... I don't even know what to call it. Comes great evilness? Because check this out. Once we start sliding it down, it's the most brutal chord there is. I love the inverted power chord, because no other chord sounds that messed up. That to me is unnerving. This interval. I mean, compare that to the regular power chord. Just take these notes. Compare that to, and that's actually when I was a baby boy, a 6-year-old, and I know this for a fact because I used to record things on tape, the tape recorder, and one of the things that I recorded when I was 6 years old was I had my dad's acoustic guitar. I didn't know fucking shit all about playing back then either. So what I would do is that I had the acoustic guitar, and I remember, I have the tape somewhere there, is that I chugged on it. I chugged on these 2 strings, and I went like, I did the Gojira chug. And I remember, yeah, it has that sound that I love, which I don't know where I first heard like chugging guitars, stuff like that, but I knew I loved it, and at that age, during that recording, I had that in mind. I was like, but I felt that the rhythm was right. I knew where I was going with it, but I could tell the notes weren't right, because what I was actually looking for was straight up power chords. Just, I didn't know if that was a thing that I should have been doing, because I was fucking 6 years old and no one would have told me. So it's just, like that, like Gojira does. But then a little later, probably the same year later, I got this. My dad got me a tape of a Polish thrash band called Turbo, which is a weird fucking band because they started off doing like dad rock in the 70s. Then they made a couple of fucking fantastic thrash albums in the 80s, and then they went back to doing dad rock and metal. So it's weird. But the Turbo, The Last Warrior, that is my favorite metal album of all time because it's so fucking brutal. It is amazing. It is recorded in 1987 in fucking Poland, and it has the brutalest, fastest, most melodic fucking shit on every instrument. The drums, fucking crazy. The guitars, unparalleled. Bass line's cool. Vocals, holy fuck. Anyway, check that out. Turbo, The Last Warrior. Anyway, on that tape, there was a whole lot of these chords, the inverted power chord. And I would shit myself while listening to that album. It also has a lot of happy power chords, these. Which is, if with the sad power chord, the inverted, I'm fucking changing the terminology. The sad power chord, let's call it that. This is also, the inverted power chord is also the sad power chord. When you make it the happy power chord, you can also slide that around and it becomes fucking evil as fuck. Not really. It's the inverted power chord. The inverted power chord that's just straight up evil. But let's see. What's a good example of one of those turbo riffs? Oh yeah, they have a song or a riff that goes like this. It actually, it does that exact thing where it changes from regular power chord to inverted power chord, and it's just fuck. Sorry, this is actually how the riff goes. And then it changed. Some shit. But anyway, that's a demonstration of just how powerful that switch is and how different that the message is behind those chords. Just the way that you use a chord, just how different, and just the message of the fucking riff, how it changes with which power chord you're using, which actually is cool because there are so many different power chords you can be using. You can do the Gojira chug, which is that one's tricky because it's not musical at all. Arguably, you can use it in music, yeah. People use it in music, yeah. But it's mostly just rhythmic because that interval is very impractical when you try to string together a linear idea using that interval. It doesn't really, it doesn't really gel well. Aside from the rhythm of it, which is great. But then you have that, you have the regular power, you have the regular power chord, you have the sad one, the inverted one, you have the happy one, you have this, which is sure, I guess. Anyway, all this is to say that, oh yeah, what the fuck was I talking about? Turbo? No, yeah, I was talking about this. So I figured out that under there, and it'll work. Fuck. But then, because the line changes, I had to figure out, okay, well, I can't keep doing this. I need to move it up, so I had to find where do the notes move? They move to. So if I follow the same logic, then the bass, the root notes would be. What the fuck? Oh yeah, the bass notes would be. Check it out. It's an E. Or an E. So effectively. So what I ended up doing was that I still doing the inverted power chord, but I did a little thing with the rhythm there. Also did that, actually, I switched up from the inverted power chord to the regular one. And check out, actually, what I was saying about how it changes the message of the song and the intent. I think intent is the word I'm looking for here. It changes the intent of the riff when you change the type of power chord you're using. Because this stays the same. So that's the general purpose of that riff. I think a lot about when I write riffs or I think of riffs in music. I think a lot about what's the individual purpose or intent behind each guitar line. Well, that's the general purpose of this part, is to and that's the purpose of it, and then the intent behind the purpose. It changes. It changes completely when you switch up the type of power chord you're using there. So all that is to say, if you're stuck, you have an idea of maybe a lead part or something, and you're unsure of what the riffs is supposed to be like. You have some parts that just don't kind of vibe with each other, but you want to have like some. You want to have some key hits in there, some rhythmics. You have a rhythm that you have in your mind. You know, you need to maybe spice it up a bit. Keep in mind that you have so many different variations of the power chord that you can be using. if those are effectively power chords anymore, or maybe the power chord is strictly the fifth. But what I'm saying is, you can take any one of those options and mix and match. And you go, or I mean, the possibilities are endless. So don't get stumped if your riff doesn't sound quite like you want it to, or you want to change things up a bit, because there's so much depth to power chords, and just the way you can change the intent and purpose and feel of a part or of a riff. Right? Anyway, that was another. This video was even longer and probably less interesting and more incoherent than the previous one, but it was something.